Hi, for those of you who do not know me, I'm Renee, also known as Miss HG Mercury from the Sunshine Coast Pinup School. I'm a pinup photographer and a vintage stylist, and I also knit. So I have a knitting pattern which is a free download for you, so let's go. Okay, so I have always loved winter and autumn 1940s fashions, and I loved trolling through Pinterest for many years and finding 1940s scarves. Now this is a knitting pattern which you can download yourself. It is so beginner friendly. It is a big triangle and you can use pretty much any yarn that you want. It's just going to depend on what thickness it is. So this is a really great winter scarf. I'm going to show you a few ways to style it, but first let's talk about the pattern. It is in full garter stitch with just a very subtle increase with the yarn over all the way up the edge, and then that is carried on right before you finish with a yarn over and a knit two together all the way across. So this is a one skein fingering weight pattern. So I don't know about you, but when I first got into knitting, I just fell in love with all these hand-dyed yarns, but I could not afford to buy them and purchase from these lovely small business owners, but I couldn't afford to make a whole sweater or a cardigan out of it, so I would just get one skein. So this is all that is left from 100 gram skein of fingering weight yarn. This is from Chardiglen Designs. Hopefully I've said that correctly, and this is in her Mother Earth colorway. And I picked this up because when I like to wear like greens and browns and stuff in the autumn and winter, so I knew that this would suit most of my wardrobe. So it is a knitted scarf. It's a big triangle. So if you've seen any of my other scarf tying tutorials before, it works in pretty much the same way. You've just got a bit of a thicker fabric to deal with. So it can be, you know, for those that live in the colder climates, you can have it as a traditional scarf. If you want, you can have it as just something to pop over your head to protect your ears and your weather, say just getting in and out of the car or something like that. The length is completely dependent on you and how much yarn you have. So this, I just kept going and used a scarf that I already have as a reference guide at about a triangle that I normally fold it into, and I used this as a reference guide as I was knitting and just laid it against it, keeping in mind that this is a wool yarn, so it does have a bit of stretch to it. So I haven't actually blocked this, but I am able to stretch it out a little bit as well. So if you've always wanted to learn how to knit, knitting accessories and scarves is a really good way to start so that you're not overwhelmed knitting a cardigan or anything like that. This cardigan is amazing and I love it. I will leave a link down below to it. It's a free pattern that you can get from the Subversive Femme from Bex, and it's amazing pattern. I really want to make another one. Just a little plug there for her. So this is a really great beginner pattern. It goes really, really fast at the start because you're doing those increases on every single row, and you only have to cast on 4 stitches at the start. So if you really don't like casting on, you don't have to cast on too many, but you do have to bind off quite a few at the end. So I'm going to show you a few nice cozy winter autumn hairstyles that you can do with this scarf pattern. So first of all, I am just going to toss all of my hair at the back. It's quite big at the moment, and I'm just going to put in some grip tooth combs just to hold those size sections back. Ugh, so much hair on that side. So I'm just holding all of my hair back like so, and then you've got it in a triangle, and then just like all of my other tutorials, I'm going to place this into a rectangle. So keep in mind that when you do knit this, the type of yarn that you use and the gauge that you use. So this is knit on, so fingering weight yarn on 4.5mm needles. I'm a loose knitter, so it's probably, you're gonna hit gauge if you're a regular knitter at about 5mm needles. So that's going to depend how thick it is going to be. So I'm going to roll that up again and then pop that over the back, over my ears, and just do a little tie like so. If you've got a bit more volume, you can try and do a bow, but I'm just doing a knot. I'm going to tuck that side in and tuck this side in, and then just fluffing that over my ears so my ears stay really nice and cold, really nice and warm from the gold. And then you've got a really cute hairstyle if you can have all your hair at the back and you just have nice warm ear warmers, but you've still got all of your beautiful curls out the back. So very similar vein with the next hairstyle. If you don't feel like doing your hair or you haven't, don't worry. You can use a victory roller. If you don't have one of these, you can just put your hair in a ponytail and just roll and pin it. But I'm just being a bit lazy and using this to collect all my hair and roll it up. Like so. So that's just going to get it up off my neck nice and secure, and I might just use a couple of little bobby pins just to tuck and secure all of those fluffy ends in. And then you can do the same, untie this, and then you can do the same style but with all of your hair up out of the way. So I am going to just fold it in half so we've got a bit of a thicker style, keeping that I-cord edge around, bringing it up over the hair, nice and snug over the ears. And you can pull on it fairly tight because remember it is a knit. Let's see if I can get some sort of bow happening. Alright, so we've got a little turban tie style. Got these two little ends I'm just going to tuck in and tuck this one in as well. And there you have a really nice and easy breezy 1940s inspired woolen headscarf. I didn't have to do anything to the back of my head. You can just chuck it up in a bun and a ponytail and fold it under if you don't have a victory roller to scoop up all your hair like that. But another really great winter hairstyle. So of course, another hairstyle that you can do with this is to use it as a full turban. So just by placing the straight edge over your head and bringing it up. So this is also a good idea when you are knitting it to make sure that you're going to have enough coverage to fold that hair, that scarf back over. So I'm just going to be giving it a little tie, folding that and tucking it in. And then I'm just going to do another knot on the top. And tucking those ends in. So another easy breezy way to wear a knitted scarf and add a little bit of color to your winter wardrobe. So what if you want to use it just as a scarf? So as I demonstrated before, you can just grab your triangle and tie it in the back, and then you're going to be able to tuck in your scarf into your top or your blouse, and you're going to be able to keep your neck and your chest nice and warm. You can also create another rectangle with it. So folding it up like so, and then tying it as you would a regular scarf. You can have it over the front like so, or you can put it onto the side, flick one over, and you've got a really stylish scarf that you can also quickly pop up and wrap around your ears if they're getting a little bit freezing cold. So this is a great beginner knitting pattern. I encourage everyone to learn how to knit. I recently learned how to knit a year ago, and I've never turned back. I love it so much. So really great. You can download it. If you want any yarn suggestions, there are so many amazing hand-dyed yarn. There are so many amazing hand-dyed yarn dyers, yarn hand dyers. I have no idea how I'm meant to actually say that, but there are so many, and you can just look in your local area and support somebody local who dyes up all this beautiful variegated yarn. And I think these are just the perfect way to use them up if a variegated yarn's a bit too much on your rest of your body with a sweater. But of course you can just use whatever you find in an op shop, a thrift shop, stripe it up. I would love for you to tag me if you do knit one of these and let me know how you go. And I definitely think I'll be making a few more just for my little earsies get a bit cold in the winter. So don't forget to download it down below and let me know if you do knit this up, and tag me, and also, you know, showcase all that beautiful yarn that you might have sitting there with the one skeins that just need to be loved. Full disclosure, I am filming this in an Australian summer heat wave, so, oh my God. You can start knitting now, and then it should be ready to wear in winter if you're in Australia, or whenever you are watching this video. Give yourself a few months grace to be able to knit it up and then be able to enjoy it when the weather does cool down.